feeling, right? That itch to really understand something, to go beyond just the facts and grasp the truly fascinating core of a topic. Well, consider this your express lane to some seriously mind-bending knowledge.
Indeed. We're embarking on a deep dive into the world of tektites, these natural glass objects with an origin story that stretches, well, far beyond our planet.
Tektites, yeah. The name even sounds a bit extraterrestrial, doesn't it?
It does.
And it fits, because these aren't your everyday rocks. We're talking about silica-rich glass forged in the crucible of hypervelocity meteorite impacts. Impacts so powerful they'd kind of make even dinosaur extinction events seem relatively minor.
That's a good way to put it.
But here's where it gets really interesting. These aren't just scientifically significant remnants of cosmic collisions.
Yeah.
They've also been woven into the fabric of human culture and, even given rise to profound metaphysical beliefs.
Exactly. It's this incredible duality that makes them so utterly compelling. Precisely. For this deep dive, we have a really rich collection of sources, scientific articles, meticulously detailing their formation and global distribution, alongside some fascinating explorations into their cultural significance and the diverse metaphysical properties attributed to them across millennia.
Our mission today is to unpack all of that for you. We want to extract the absolute key insights about tektites, how they're born, where they're found scattered across the globe, what they've symbolized for different cultures throughout history, and, well, the spectrum of beliefs that surround them today. And crucially, we're going to help you clearly distinguish between the well-established scientific facts and the captivating realm of attributed beliefs. Okay, let's unpack this. What in the cosmos are these things?
Well, the name tektite has its roots in the Greek word tektos, meaning molten.
Molten, right.
Which immediately gives you a hint about their fiery beginnings. They are, as you mentioned, natural glasses, rich in silica, and a key point is that they are non-volcanic in origin.
Non-volcanic glass born from space impacts.
Oh.
That's wild. What do they actually look like? I'm picturing something, I don't know, roughly the size of, say, a grapefruit.
Their size range is surprisingly broad, actually. We find microscopic microtektites, no larger than grains of sand, essentially.
Wow.
But also much more substantial specimens. The true behemoths, the Mun-Nong-type tektites, can reach up to an astonishing 12.8 kilograms.
Whoa. From something you could easily lose on the beach to nearly 13 kilos. That's quite a variation. What about their colors? Are they all the stereotypical black and ominous looking?
While black and dark brown are indeed common, they also exhibit a range of other colors. We see the beautiful green or the famous Moldavite,
Yes.
as well as grays, and even a distinctive yellow-gray, like the Libyan desert glass we'll definitely be talking about later.
Okay, so a bit more of a color palette than I imagined. And what about their physical properties? Are they fragile, like your average window pane?
Not quite. They register a hardness of 6 to 7 on the Mohs scale. To give you a sense of that, while you wouldn't scratch one with your fingernail, a quartz crystal could leave a mark. Their density is around 2.4 to 2.5 grams per cubic centimeter, which is, well, a bit lighter than quartz sand.
Right.
Chemically, as we noted, they're primarily silicon dioxide, that's SiO2, and aluminum oxide, Al2O3.
Got it. So definitely not your average geological find. Is there anything else that fundamentally distinguishes them from other types of glass, scientifically speaking?
Absolutely. One of the most crucial distinguishing features is their exceptionally low water content, less than 0.02%.
Tiny now.
It's minuscule. And this is a key fingerprint that definitively separates them from volcanic glasses like obsidian, which contain significantly more water within their structure. This near absence of water speaks volumes about the extreme heat and rapid formation process they underwent.
Makes sense.
They also possess an amorphous structure, meaning their atoms are arranged randomly rather than in a crystalline lattice.
No crystals.
No crystals. Again, a consequence of that rapid cooling. And if you were to examine their surfaces closely, you'd often find them pitted and grooved, the result of their high-speed passage through the atmosphere and subsequent erosion over time.
Fiery journey is right. Makes perfect sense given the impact origin. You mentioned classifying them by morphology. What can the shape tell us?
Yeah, we primarily categorize them into splash-form tektites and flanged buttons. Splash-form tektites boast these incredible shapes: spheres, ellipsoids, rods, teardrops, dumbbells, even forms resembling tiny boats.
Dumbbells. Like little weights.
Exactly like that. Now, the initial assumption was that these sort of Aerodynamic shapes were sculpted by the intense forces of the air as they hurtled through the atmosphere. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Research has revealed that the primary shapes are actually determined by their rates of rotation as they solidified from a molten state.
Rotation, not air resistance.
Well, air resistance plays a role later, especially for the buttons, but the initial shapes. High rotation. You end up with those distinctive dumbbell shapes. Little to no rotation, you get spheres.
Wow.
So it's more about the physics of these high-energy ejection events, how even subtle rotational forces can leave a lasting signature on the resulting objects rather than solely aerodynamic forces acting on a static shape.
That's a fantastic little twist on what you might expect. So not just passive blobs of glass flying through the air. What about these button types?
Right, the flanged buttons. They're essentially modified splash forms, often starting as spheres or ovals. What makes them unique is the flange or rim that develops around their circumference.
Like a little hat brim.
Sort of, yeah.
Wow.
This is a consequence of ablation. The loss of material on their forward-facing side during a second encounter with the atmosphere.
A second. Wait.
Think of it like a spacecraft re-entering Earth's atmosphere. The intense heat and friction cause the outer layers to burn away.
Wait a minute. A second pass through the atmosphere. So these things were ejected so far out that they actually fell back in. That's utterly mind-blowing.
Exactly. They went way up, possibly even out of the main atmosphere, and then came back down. Australites and Javanites are classic examples of these flanged buttons.
Wow.
And this isn't just a theoretical idea. Experiments, such as those conducted at Corning Glass Company using wind tunnels, have successfully replicated these distinctive shapes by subjecting molten glass spheres to extremely high-speed airflows, demonstrating that aerodynamic ablation is indeed the key process for the flanges.
Wow. Okay, so these are definitely not just pretty curios. They're relics of incredibly violent events, ejected and re-entering bits of our own planet. So we've touched on it, but let's really solidify the formation process. It's all about meteorite impacts, right?
That is the overwhelming scientific consensus, yes. The immense energy released when a large extraterrestrial body crashes into Earth causes the surface rocks and soil at the impact site to instantaneously melt.
Poof. Melted.
Pretty much. This molten material is then violently ejected, sometimes reaching altitudes far beyond our atmosphere. As these liquid droplets travel through space and rapidly cool, they solidify into the diverse glassy forms we recognize as tektites, eventually falling back to Earth, potentially thousands of kilometers away from the original impact zone.
What's the unshakable evidence that points to this impact origin? There must be quite a bit.
There are several compelling lines of evidence. First and foremost is their chemical composition. It bears a striking resemblance to specific types of terrestrial sedimentary rocks. Think of quartz-rich sandstones and shales and the soils derived from their weathering.
So they match Earth rocks.
Exactly. This strong chemical link strongly suggests that these earthly materials are the source from which tektites are formed. Then we have the presence of cosmogenic isotopes, such as beryllium-10,
Beryllium-10, right.
These are special foams of elements created when cosmic radiation bombards the Earth's surface. Tektites exhibit elevated levels of these isotopes, indicating that their parent material was exposed to cosmic rays at the Earth's surface before the impact event.
Interesting. Like a timestamp of being on the surface. Any other telltale signs within their composition?
Absolutely. We find microscopic inclusions trapped within tektites that are known to form only under the extreme pressures and temperatures associated with meteorite impacts.
Like what?
These include coesite, which is a high-pressure variant of silica, minute spherules composed of nickel-iron alloys, common in meteorites,
Right.
and a mineral called batolite. These are like microscopic snapshots of the intense shock waves generated by the impact.
Little bits of the impact itself trapped inside.
Sort of, yeah, or minerals formed because of the impact's pressure. Furthermore, studies of the low-pressure gas bubbles found within moldavites, those green tektites, have revealed that the gases inside are at pressures equivalent to an altitude of roughly 32 kilometers above the Earth's surface.
32 kilometers up. Wow.
Which strongly supports the idea of a very high ejection into the atmosphere. And finally, when we analyze lunar samples brought back by the Apollo missions, we find no chemical similarities whatsoever to tektites, effectively debunking older theories that proposed a lunar volcanic origin.
So the evidence is pretty airtight then. These are Earth rocks, dramatically transformed by cataclysmic collisions with objects from space. But you mentioned minority hypotheses. Just out of curiosity, what were some of those alternative ideas?
Uh, well, there were some less mainstream theories, like a volcanic origin not on the moon, but on Earth, perhaps. Or it was speculated that maybe so-called eruptive comets might have carried icy aggregates containing these glass-like materials to Earth.
Eruptive comets. Okay.
But as we've discussed, the overwhelming body of geochemical, isotopic, and mineralogical evidence firmly supports the terrestrial impact origin. It just serves as a good reminder that the scientific process involves constantly evaluating and refining explanations based on the weight of the evidence.
Definitely. And the very fact that tektites exist as these tangible records of truly massive cosmic events, it really forces us to consider our place within the vastness of the universe, doesn't it? It's like we can study these incredible impact events secondhand long after they occurred.
It really is. They're windows into incredibly energetic moments in Earth's history.
What does the mystery of the missing crater for the Australasian strewn field tell us about the challenges of identifying impact sites, even massive ones, over geological timescales?
Oh, it highlights the dynamic nature of our planet's surface incredibly well. Erosion, sedimentation, tectonic activity, plate tectonics, they can all work to obscure or even completely bury evidence of past impacts over millions of years.
And so the Earth just heals itself, in a way.
In a way, yes. It underscores the fact that even an event that scattered debris across a tenth of the globe can have its source effectively erased from view, requiring some pretty sophisticated geological detective work to potentially uncover.
Absolutely fascinating. Now let's delve a little deeper into that chemical composition. We know they're silicate glasses, but what are some of the more specific details?
Okay. We've already mentioned the high silica content ranging from 68 to 82%, sialo to 2% alumina, all 2O3 to post, which is typically between 10 and 14%.
Right. Silica and alumina are the main players. What else makes up these glassy remnants?
There are smaller amounts of other metal oxides, including iron, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and titanium. But it's crucial to reiterate that extremely low water content, less than 0.02%.
Can't stress that enough, huh?
It's absolutely fundamental in distinguishing them from volcanic glass. Remember, volcanic glass has water trapped within its structure, so if you were to heat it, it would likely froth up.
Right.
Tektites, being virtually anhydrous, will simply melt quietly.
That's a neat little practical test to keep in mind. So they're overwhelmingly made of earthly materials, but did any of the impacting meteoroids material get incorporated into the tektites, like bits of the asteroid itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. Isotopic analyses, particularly those focusing on elements like osmium, which have distinct isotopic signatures in meteorites compared to Earth rocks,
Okay.
show very minimal, if any, contribution from the impacting body, so it's overwhelmingly melted target rock from Earth.
Mostly just melted Earth stuff, then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The remarkable homogeneity of the glass also points to incredibly high formation temperatures and a very thorough mixing of the melt. And here's a really cutting-edge technique. Scientists now analyze the isotopic fractionation of volatile elements like zinc, copper, cadmium, and tin.
Isotopic fractionation. What does that tell us?
Well, the subtle ways in which the isotopes of these more easily vaporized elements were preferentially lost during that intense heating event can actually help us reconstruct the specific pressure and temperature conditions of the impact. It's like another forensic clue.
Wow, intricate stuff. So they are fundamentally of our world, yet forged by something completely alien. That earthly yet alien quality you mentioned earlier, it really comes through in their composition.
It does, doesn't it?
It's easy to see how that might contribute to some of the more metaphysical interpretations surrounding them.
It's a compelling connection to make, for sure. Now, let's shift our focus to where these fascinating objects are actually found. They're not just randomly distributed across the globe, are they?
No, they're not. They are confined to these geographically extensive regions known as tektite-strewn fields.
Strewn fields, right.
Each strewn field represents the area where tektites from a single specific impact event were deposited. And remarkably, these strewn fields have been discovered on every continent except Antarctica.
Every continent but Antarctica? Okay.
Yeah.
And there are 4 major ones, right?
Yeah, 4 major strewn fields that are particularly well documented and have yielded significant numbers of tektites.
Okay, walk us through them.
First up, the North American strewn field, dated to approximately 35.5 million years ago.
Okay, pretty old.
Yeah, and it's associated with the massive Chesapeake Bay impact in what is now the United States. The tektites found here are known as bediacite in Texas and georgites in, Georgia.
Makes sense. Bediacites and georgites.
Exactly. And interestingly, microtektites from this same impact event have been found as far afield as the Gulf of Mexico and even the North Atlantic Ocean.
Wow, tiny pieces spread really far. Right, that massive underwater impact we discussed earlier. What's next on our global Tektite tour?
Next, we have the Central European strewn field, which formed around 14.7 to 14.8 million years ago and is linked to the well-known Rise impact crater in Germany.
Ah, the Rise crater. And these are the Moldavites.
These are the famous Moldavites, prized for their beautiful green color. They are primarily found in the Czech Republic, in Bohemia and Moravia, with smaller occurrences in parts of Germany and Austria.
Ah, yes, the almost mythical green gems that seem to have fallen from the sky. Okay, two down.
Exactly. Following that, we have the Ivory Coast strewn field, which is relatively young, at about 1.1 million years old,
Okay, much younger.
and is clearly connected to the Bosumtwi impact crater in Ghana.
Basum Crater, Ghana. Got it.
Yeah.
And then the big one.
And then we come to the largest and youngest of them all, the Australasian strewn field.
The Australasian one. That's the one that covers a truly enormous area. Right.
That's absolutely correct. It's dated to approximately 0.79 million years ago. So around 786 to 790,000 years. And it covers a staggering portion of the Earth's surface, estimated to be over 10%.
10%, just from one impact.
Yeah. Its distribution stretches from Southeast Asia, encompassing countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, South China, the Philippines, all the way down to Australia.
Incredible range.
Here we find a diverse range of tektites, including Indogenites, Philippinites, Rhyzolites, Javanites, Bilitonites, and of course Australites. What's particularly intriguing about this strewn field is that the precise location of the impact crater responsible for creating these tektites remains a mystery, the so-called missing crater.
Right, the missing crater mystery. Any ideas where it might be?
Some scientists hypothesize that it might be buried beneath the seafloor in Southeast Asia, perhaps in the Gulf of Tonkin. And microtektites from this event are widely distributed across the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans.
Wow. What does the vastness of this strewn field, without a clearly identified source crater, suggest about the potential scale and nature of the impact event?
It really emphasizes the sheer power involved, maybe a glancing blow or an impact into water or ice that didn't leave a typical crater, and definitely highlights the challenges in piecing together these ancient events. Any other notable tektite occurrences around the globe?
Yes, a few others are worth mentioning. We also have the intriguing Libyan desert glass found in Egypt and Libya.
The yellowy one.
That's the one. Estimated age of 28 to 29 million years, and some evidence suggesting a possible link to the Kibera crater in Egypt, though that's still debated. Then there's the Awalul glass in Mauritania, dating back about 3 million years and associated with the small Awalul crater. And more recently, tektites have been discovered in Central America, specifically in Belize and Guatemala, with an age of around 0.82 million years, potentially linked to the Pantasma crater in Nicaragua.
So each of these strewn fields is like a footprint left by a specific cosmic impact. And the variations we see within a single strewn field, like the differences in size and specific gravity among Australasian tektites, can tell us even more about the complex dynamics of the initial ejection and subsequent fallback of the material, right?
Precisely. The patterns matter. These strewn fields are essentially tangible records of these colossal impacts, providing valuable clues about the trajectory and size of the impactor, as well as the immense energy that was released.
And because tektites are often found either on the surface or in relatively young geological deposits, it's highly probable that early human populations inhabiting these regions would have encountered them.
Oh, almost certainly. Which naturally leads us to the fascinating realm of folklore and cultural significance. These weren't just unusual stones to our ancestors. They were something extraordinary, something that had clearly arrived from the heavens.
Yeah, you can just imagine finding one of these things after a storm or something.
Exactly. They served both as practical resources, sometimes, and as objects imbued with sacred meaning, highlighting humanity's long-standing fascination with the cosmos and its often enigmatic messengers.
Okay, so we've established the scientific narrative, the fiery origins, the unique chemical fingerprints, and these distinct global distributions. Now let's journey back through time and explore how different cultures have interpreted these captivating objects. Before scientific understanding provided the impact theory, what kinds of explanations did people devise for their existence?
Well, as you can imagine, anything that appears to descend from the sky, particularly something as unusual in appearance as tektites, would have been imbued with profound significance. Let's begin with the Aboriginal peoples of Australia. They have the most extensive documented history of interaction with Australites, spanning over 30,000 years.
30,000 years. That's an incredibly long-standing relationship. What do they call these objects and how were they utilized?
They were frequently referred to as Maban, which translates to something akin to magic or possessing spiritual power.
Aibon. Magic. Okay.
Discovering one was often considered a sign of good fortune. The button-shaped Australites were particularly valued. Their inherent hardness made them suitable for use as tools, maybe for scraping or cutting.
Practical uses too.
Right. And they were also incorporated as charms and into the creation of other artifacts. Interestingly, European settlers in the region even adopted the term blackfellow buttons due to their strong association with Aboriginal people who collected and traded them.
Blackfellow buttons.
Yeah. While their rich oral traditions often speak of fiery stars and celestial events that resulted in craters, direct and explicit links to observed Tektite falls in their recorded stories are less clear, though the overarching celestial connection is certainly present.
So, objects that held both practical utility and a deep sense of the mystical. That resonates strongly. What about ancient China? You mentioned a beautifully descriptive name earlier.
Yes, around 1050 years ago, during the Tang Dynasty, the scholar Lu Sun documented them, referring to them as Leigongmo, which poetically translates to inkstone of the thunder god.
Inkstone of the thunder god. That's fantastic.
Isn't it? These objects were often found after rainstorms, described as being black, possessing a lustrous sheen, and even producing a ringing sound when struck. People believed they offered protection against malevolent spirits and were even thought to have the power to improve eyesight and promote longevity.
Wow, quite the list of benefits.
And in later feng shui practices, they were sometimes utilized as aids in meditation and were even believed to have the ability to absorb or mitigate electromagnetic forces emitted by electronic devices.
Huh. What does this association with thunder and storms suggest about how they might have been perceived in relation to natural forces?
It really paints a picture of them being linked to powerful, almost supernatural forces of nature, maybe seen as remnants of lightning strikes or gifts from storm deities, something powerful from the sky.
Makes sense. Now let's travel to ancient Egypt and those striking golden yellow Libyan desert glasses.
These were clearly highly prized, as evidenced by their incorporation into elaborate jewelry, most notably as the central scarab beetle in the pictorial ornament of Tutankhamun.
Right, Tutankhamun's pictorial. That's amazing.
It really is. The distinctive golden yellow hue likely contributed to the suggestion that they may have been referred to as the Rock of the God, with a strong association to the sun god Ra.
The sun god Ra, okay.
And in contemporary metaphysical practices, they are sometimes linked to the powerful warrior goddess Sekhmet. The fact that such a unique object was placed at the very heart of a pharaoh's burial regalia speaks volumes about its perceived value.
A royal adornment. That certainly underscores their perceived worth and significance. What about in Europe? We touched on Moldavites being seen as emeralds from heaven.
Indeed. The verdant green Moldavites were utilized ornamentally by Celtic cultures, apparently. During the Middle Ages, they were often regarded as good luck talismans, incorporated into jewelry, and traded as precious objects.
Talismans for luck.
Exactly. The folklore surrounding them frequently described them as emeralds that had fallen from heaven, and some legends even associated them with an enhanced spiritual connection and the ability to open portals to higher realms of existence. This idea of something precious falling directly from the sky clearly captured the imagination.
Emeralds from heaven. Another evocative description that perfectly captures that sense of wonder and otherworldly origin. Did other regions of the world develop their own unique interpretations?
Absolutely. In India, some traditional beliefs refer to Tektites as the sacred gem of Krishna.
Gem of Krishna, okay.
And throughout Southeast Asia, they were often believed to bring good luck and prosperity, serving as protective talismans, particularly for those undertaking travel.
Protection for travelers, interesting.
We also have archaeological evidence indicating the use of Tektites, likely due to their hardness and conchoidal fracture, the way they break.
Like flint?
Similar idea, yeah. Useful for making sharp edges. So, used for the creation of rudimentary tools and weapons in Stone Age sites, once again highlighting that dual nature of practical application alongside potential sacred meaning.
It's truly remarkable how, across such geographically diverse and often isolated cultures, we observe this recurring motif of a celestial origin and strong associations with protection, good fortune, and at times, even divine power.
It really is striking, isn't it?
It really speaks to a fundamental aspect of the human experience, our attempts to understand rare and enigmatic objects that seem to have a direct connection to the vastness of the cosmos. They fulfilled both earthly needs and deeply held spiritual beliefs.
Precisely. Now let's turn our attention to the contemporary metaphysical landscape and the properties that are attributed to tektites in modern belief systems.
Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Yeah, and it's important to preface this by reiterating that these attributions are rooted in belief, tradition, and anecdotal experience, rather than conclusive scientific evidence. Our aim here is to report on these beliefs as they currently exist.
Understood. Science is one thing, belief is another. So within modern metaphysical traditions, what are the fundamental energetic themes that are commonly associated with tektites?
Well, three primary energetic themes consistently emerge. Firstly, transformation and growth. Tektites are widely regarded as powerful catalysts for personal transformation.
Good, big changes.
Exactly. Believed to aid in breaking free from ingrained patterns, releasing emotional attachments, and facilitating significant life transitions, ultimately fostering both personal and spiritual evolution. This resonates quite powerfully, you could say, with their dramatic, transformative origin in high-energy impact events.
That makes intuitive sense, the link between a transformative event and transformative energy.
Right. Secondly, spiritual growth and awakening. They are often seen as tools to accelerate spiritual development, expand one's consciousness, and elevate overall awareness. And thirdly, the strong sense of cosmic connection or an otherworldly link.
Connecting to something beyond Earth.
They are frequently described as conduits for cosmic energies, believed to facilitate communication with spirit guides, angels, higher dimensions of reality, and even extraterrestrial intelligences, hence the common descriptor, stones of cosmic connection.
Stones of cosmic connection, got it.
Underlying all of these attributions is the prevalent belief that tektites possess a very high vibrational frequency, which is often cited as the fundamental mechanism through which these effects are believed to manifest.
High vibration. Okay, those are some potent themes. Moving beyond the broader concepts, what kind of emotional and mental support are tektites said to offer in these traditions?
They are believed to provide significant emotional healing and release, helping, supposedly, in the processing of past traumas, the release of negative emotions such as anger, fear, anxiety, and grief, and the clearing of deep-seated emotional blockages.
Clearing out the old stuff.
Right, ultimately fostering inner peace, a sense of calm, and an increased sense of optimism. On a mental level, they are thought to promote mental strengthening and clarity, assisting in broadening one's perspective, improving concentration and focus, and enhancing overall clarity of thought.
Sharper mind, clearer thinking.
That's the idea. Some proponents even believe they can enhance knowledge acquisition, memory recall, and motivation, making them potentially beneficial for creative endeavors and learning. Interestingly, despite their reputation for high energy, darker varieties like australites are sometimes associated with providing a sense of grounding and protection.
Grounding, even with high energy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox, but the belief is they help individuals to integrate expansive spiritual experiences and remain connected to the earthly realm. It's often recommended to pair them with other grounding stones, like black tourmaline or smoky quartz, to achieve a sense of energetic balance.
Okay, balance is the key.
The underlying mechanism for these benefits is often described as the ability of tektites to clear blockages or release stagnant energy from the individual's energy field or aura.
So a sense of clearing out what's no longer serving us and fostering positive shifts, both emotionally and mentally. What about their spiritual and psychic attributions? That seems to be a significant aspect of their modern metaphysical appeal.
Indeed, that's a big part of it. They are widely believed to sharpen intuition and enhance psychic abilities, such as clairvoyance or clear seeing.
Seeing things more clearly, psychically.
Right. Many individuals utilize them to stimulate and enhance astral travel, out-of-body experiences, and lucid dreaming. Some traditions even suggest they can foster or improve telepathic communication and assist in the practice of channeling information and communicating with spirit guides, angels, and other non-physical entities.
Wow, quite a range there.
Yeah. A central tenet is that they facilitate accessing higher states of consciousness and connecting with higher spiritual realms or dimensions, often described as thinning the veil between these realities.
Thinning the veil, I've heard that phrase.
Furthermore, they are frequently regarded as energy amplifiers, capable of intensifying the effects of other crystals or boosting the energy of various spiritual practices. Finally, they are also believed to offer psychic and energetic protection, shielding against negative energies, psychic attacks, and detrimental environmental influences, a belief that echoes some of the protective properties attributed to them in ancient cultures, like in Egypt.
Right, the protection aspect again.
This pairing of psychic opening with energetic protection is a common theme. You open up, but you're also shielded.
It's quite a comprehensive list of attributed powers. Do these beliefs often intersect with established metaphysical systems like the chakra system, astrology, or elemental correspondences?
Yes, they frequently do, although the specific associations can sometimes vary depending on the particular tradition or practitioner. You'll find different opinions.
Okay, so not always consistent.
Not always perfectly aligned, no. In terms of chakra associations, the crown chakra is most commonly cited as resonating with Tektites due to their connection to spiritual awareness, expanded consciousness, and mental clarity. The third eye chakra is also frequently linked to them for their purported ability to enhance intuition, clairvoyance, and other psychic abilities.
Crown and third eye makes sense for cosmic connection and intuition.
Right. Some believe that Tektites, due to their perceived universal cosmic energy, their intergalactic vibrations, as some call it, can help to purify and balance all of the chakras.
Kind of an all-purpose chakra cleanser.
That's one idea. When specific types are considered, Moldavite is often associated with the heart, third eye, and crown chakras.
Heart, too, for Moldavite, because it's green.
Often, yeah, the green color links it to the heart. While Libyan desert glass is frequently linked to the solar plexus, sacral, and third eye chakras, the concept of Tektites acting as a master key to the chakras is also sometimes encountered.
Interesting. What about astrology?
Regarding zodiac associations, it's often believed that Tektites resonate with all zodiac signs due to their overarching cosmic connection, with the idea that they can amplify both the strengths and potential weaknesses of an individual's astrological chart.
So universal applicability there.
Often, yes. However, specific mentions do include Aries, Cancer, and Sagittarius in a general sense, with Libyan desert glass sometimes specifically associated with Aries, Cancer, and Libra, and general Tektites occasionally linked to Leo and Aquarius. It's worth noting that these astrological correspondences can be quite variable.
Yeah, sounds like it varies a lot. Elements.
In terms of elemental associations, spirit, also known as ether or akasha, is often implicitly or explicitly linked to Tektites. Fire is another common association due to their fiery origin in impact events.
Makes sense.
Libyan desert glass, in particular, is sometimes linked to both fire and wind, or storm and fire. Interestingly, in feng shui practices, they may be associated with the element of water.
Fire, spirit, water. Quite mixed.
It reflects the different ways people connect with them. Numerologically, the numbers 1 and 9 often hold significance in relation to Tektites, 9 being about completion and universal connection. And finally, in terms of planetary associations, Jupiter, or sometimes all of the planets collectively are mentioned, with Libyan desert glass specifically linked to the planet Earth.
It sounds like there's a rich and interconnected web of beliefs and symbolic associations. You mentioned that specific types of Tektites often have their own unique sets of attributed metaphysical properties. Let's explore a few of those in more detail, starting with the undisputed celebrity of the Tektite world, Moldavite.
Ah, yes, Moldavite. It has certainly achieved a kind of celebrity status within metaphysical circles. It's frequently described as being incredibly powerful, possessing a very high and intense vibration.
People really feel it, apparently.
Many report they do. Its distinctive green color strongly links it to the heart chakra, as we mentioned, and it's associated with profound spiritual transformation, accelerated personal growth, and the expansion of consciousness. Many individuals even report experiencing a physical sensation, often referred to as the Moldavite flush, upon their initial contact with the stone.
The Moldavite flush, like feeling heat or tingling.
Exactly, sometimes warmth, dizziness, or a rush of energy. It's believed to be particularly effective in releasing deep-seated emotional wounds, transmuting negative emotions into positive ones, and opening the heart to greater love and compassion. It's also highly regarded for its ability to enhance inner vision, psychic abilities, facilitate deep meditative states, and aid in the process of manifestation.
So a real powerhouse.
That's its reputation. And as we discussed earlier, its rich history, folklore, and even potential links to the Holy Grail only serve to further enhance its mystique and allure.
The Moldavite flesh sounds like quite an experience. What about the striking golden Libyan desert glass? Its unique appearance certainly sets it apart.
It really does. Its beautiful golden yellow color is considered highly significant in metaphysical traditions. It's seen as embodying the radiant energy of the sun and the vastness of the desert landscape, combined with a potent cosmic power.
Sun and desert energy.
Right. It's frequently linked to the solar plexus chakra, which is the center of personal power, willpower, and self-confidence. As such, it's believed to enhance manifestation abilities, boost creativity, foster a greater sense of self-assurance, and invigorate one's overall life force energy.
Good for confidence and getting things done, maybe?
That's the belief. It's also associated with facilitating spiritual ascension and accessing ancient wisdom and knowledge, a belief that resonates with its historical use in Tutankhamun's scarab. The golden color itself is often interpreted as representing enlightenment and higher consciousness.
Okay, so solar power harnessed within a stone. Intriguing. And what about the darker Australasian tektites, such as Australites, the black ones?
Despite their often dark black or brownish appearance, they are considered to possess powerful tektite properties in general, including the ability to attract wealth and abundance, enhance shamanic power, aid in manifestation, clear energetic blockages, and promote spiritual growth and resilience.
So, still very powerful, even though they're dark.
Definitely. They are said to purify all of the chakras, open the third eye, and facilitate interdimensional communication, often acting as strong amplifiers of energetic intentions. Australites specifically are frequently associated with grounding and protective energies.
Ah, the grounding aspect again.
Exactly, aligning with their historical use as Mabon magic stones, believed to bring good luck by Aboriginal Australians.
So, the color isn't necessarily the primary indicator of their attributed properties. What about Indochinites and Thailandites from Southeast Asia? Also dark, right?
Also, generally dark, yes. These darker tektites from Southeast Asia are also believed to possess a very high vibrational frequency, capable of elevating one's state of consciousness. They are thought to guide the soul's growth and assist individuals in exploring a more heightened and expanded sense of self.
Guiding soul growth.
Right. Thailandites are sometimes specifically associated with individuals who identify as starseeds.
Starseeds, people who feel their origins are extraterrestrial.
That's the concept, yes. With the belief that these tektites can help them connect with their perceived star family or origins, both Indochinites and Thailandites are said to increase one's personal energy levels, clear energetic stagnation, and facilitate overall energy cleansing. Indochinites in particular are sometimes linked to the enhancement of psychic abilities.
It's fascinating to observe how these different types of tektites have seemingly developed their own distinct metaphysical reputations and areas of influence within these belief systems. Now, if someone feels drawn to working with tektites for these reasons, what are some of the common metaphysical practices they might engage in?
Well, there are a variety of ways in which people interact with tektites for metaphysical purposes. Meditation is a central practice.
Holding it while meditating.
Exactly. Using tektites as focal points during their meditations, holding them in their hands, or placing them on specific energy centers such as the third eye or crown chakra in order to supposedly expand consciousness, deepen meditative states, access inner knowledge or higher vibrational frequencies, and enhance visualizations or mental clarity.
Okay.
They are also frequently incorporated into energy work and healing layouts, where they are placed on or around the body, often on specific chakras, with the intention of balancing energy flow, clearing energetic blockages, and amplifying healing intentions. Their reputation as powerful energy amplifiers makes them particularly valued in this context.
Makes sense, amplifying the intention.
Many people also choose to carry or wear tektites as jewelry or pocket stones, believing that this provides continuous benefits within their auric field, such as grounding, protection, promoting fertility, or facilitating transformative energies.
Keeping it close.
Right. Drawing on their historical significance, they are also sometimes used as talismans and amulets for attracting good luck, promoting fertility, offering protection, warding off negative influences, or ensuring safe travel.
Like the historical uses we talked about.
Exactly. Some spiritual practitioners incorporate tektites into shamanic practices, utilizing them during shamanic journeying for energetic extractions, to facilitate connection with spirit animals, to stimulate kundalini energy, or to access deeper wisdom during times of emotional upheaval. And finally, in the realm of feng shui, the strategic placement of tektites within the home or office is considered by some to influence the overall energy of the space.
Where would you put them, according to feng shui?
Specific placements in the northeast or southwest are sometimes suggested for balance and intuition, or in the north for career and life path, aligning with the water energy association some traditions make. Some also believe in placing them near electronic devices to mitigate the effects of electromagnetic frequencies.
Ugh, the EMF thing again. It sounds like they are quite versatile and integrated into a wide range of spiritual and energy-based practices. Is there a general understanding of how they interact with other spiritual tools or frameworks?
Yes, they are often viewed as having a kind of symbiotic relationship with other spiritual tools and frameworks, acting as amplifiers, facilitators, or enhancers, rather than being seen as standalone solutions. They boost other things.
Okay, they work with other tools. And because they are often believed to absorb energetic frequencies, is there a common practice of needing to cleanse or energetically reset them, similar to some other crystals or stones?
Absolutely. That's a very common belief. The prevailing idea is that tektites can indeed absorb various energies from their surroundings and from the individuals who work with them. As a result, cleansing and recharging are considered important practices for maintaining their energetic efficacy.
How do people cleanse them?
Common methods include rinsing them under running water, smudging them with the smoke of sacred herbs like sage or palo santo, exposing them to sunlight or moonlight, particularly the full moon, burying them in the earth for a period of time, or placing them in a sea salt bath. This is often approached as a ritualized form of care intended to restore their optimal energetic properties.
Regular energetic maintenance. Got it. Given that they are often described as possessing intense or high-frequency energies, especially types like moldavite, are there any specific precautions or recommendations for individuals who are beginning to work with them?
Yes, particularly with the more potent high-vibration tektites, such as moldavite, it is often advised to incorporate grounding practices.
We mentioned grounding before. How does that work?
This might involve working with other grounding stones, such as black tourmaline or smoky quartz, holding them at the same time or keeping them nearby, or engaging in grounding meditations that help to integrate the often intense energies and prevent the individual from feeling uncentered, overwhelmed, or disconnected from the physical realm. Sort of spacey.
That makes perfect sense. You wouldn't want to feel completely unanchored. And ultimately, I suppose the individual subjective experience is the most significant factor in determining the effects and benefits they may receive from working with tektites.
Precisely. The perceived effects are often deeply personal and can vary significantly depending on the individual's level of sensitivity to subtle energies, their specific intentions, and their unique energetic resonance with the stone. What one person feels, another might not.
Right. Okay, so we've journeyed through the scientific understanding of their origins and distribution, and then explored the rich and varied world of metaphysical beliefs and practices associated with tektites. It's important now to take a step back and consider an unbiased perspective on all of this. How can we reconcile these two seemingly disparate ways of understanding these fascinating objects?
That's a crucial point, yeah. We need to appreciate